Hey, what's up, guys? You're listening to the Wholesaling Inc. podcast. I am your host, Lauren Hardy. And if you guys are new to this podcast, welcome. You are going to love it. Today, we have an awesome episode with one of my coaching students. He was actually one of my first coaching students. His name is Ray Zhang, and he is based in Honolulu, Hawaii. Ray wanted to take his business virtually. He was already doing some land deals previous to meeting me, and he came to me to help him put some of the pieces together. So let's warmly welcome Ray. Ray, thank you so much for being on today. How are you?
Good. How are you? Thank you, Lauren, to invite me here.
I am doing good. It's Friday, so I'm excited to wrap up the week. Well, tell me a little bit about yourself. So you live in Honolulu, Hawaii. That's amazing.
Yep. So I started doing cars. I was a car dealer by trade, and I started to rent cars. I started to buy and sell cars. And about a couple of years ago, I was tired of doing cars alone. I want to do something else. So I started to, Google what else can I do about real estate. So I came up with wholesaling and started to learn about it. Later on, I joined your program. Things just to start to take off after that. So
That's so cool. So wait, you used to flip cars.
yes, I'm still doing that right now.
That's so cool. Wait, so how do you flip a car? What do? You just buy an old car? What type of cars? Do you have like a specialty?
We buy cars after a year 2000, and we sell them probably, slightly higher than the price we bought it for. And I used to buy and fix and flip, but right now I just buy and flip. I don't have time to fix anymore. So
That's so cool. Okay, I didn't even.
yeah,
Isn't it amazing? Like I don't even. You don't think of these things. It's like flipping cars is a thing. That's really cool. So
right,
basically, you decided to get into flipping houses. That
right. They're the same thing, but different product.
Yeah, no,
So
that's really cool. And what intrigued me about you as a student is that you are investing in land. And I don't have a ton of experience investing in land. I did develop some homes, but I don't have the experience that you have. Tell me about your land investing strategy.
there are people want to buy in the middle of nowhere and they just want to live there. I don't know why, but it's not me. But there are people there are people just like doing that. I start to do that in Colorado, and lately we started in Arizona, and we buy a piece of land for 5 acres for dirt cheap, for less than, I don't know, $2,000, and
Five
for
acres
five.
for $2,000. Okay,
Correct.
yeah. Let's tell. I want to get really granular. So this is in Colorado or Arizona?
Colorado.
Okay, so
Arizona is even cheaper.
Okay, so let's
Yeah,
take Colorado as an example. You buy 5 acres in Colorado. Can you give me like a city name in Colorado?
a county called Costilla County.
Costilla
Um,
County?
yes.
Okay, never heard of it. So you're buying 5 acres for $2,000, 2,500?
Yeah, pretty much very cheap, and we can sell on terms for, sometimes they can pay 150 for like 50 months.
So
Yeah,
where are you finding these land deals?
we send mailers to the homeowners. The same thing with wholesaling
Right. So
properties. So
you're
yeah,
sending mailers, maybe postcards to these owners that own these little parcels of land or the 5 acres of land, and
correct.
you buy it for $2,500. You turn around and you're selling the land on terms. So you guys, if you're not familiar, it's essentially seller financing. You're carrying the note, you're turning it around and you're selling it to someone who just wants to live in the middle of nowhere and maybe put like a trailer on it.
Probably, yeah. Maybe they
Okay.
can build a shed.
Or they can build a shed or a shack or a log cabin or whatever. And how are you finding the end buyer, the end user?
We can go to Facebook, and we do Craigslist marketing too. There are some other land website we can post the property at. What I find out is it's pretty slow, to find the end buyers, and also they back out a lot. Like
Okay.
they pay a little bit and then they're gone. You cannot find them. You
Okay.
know,
So then they don't perform on the terms.
correct. That's why that's when I started thinking, is there a better way? And I listened to your coaching call with us, and something you said inspired me to do something else, which totally changed my land business and also, everything.
Okay, enlighten me. What was that? I say a lot of things. Some of it baffles me, to be quite honest.
I think you said something about wholesaling, because what I was doing with land wasn't wholesaling. So I was thinking, why don't I just do wholesaling with land? So I started to send postcards to the landowners who own more than 2 lots.
Okay.
And then I got this guy who has 280 parcels in Colorado.
Uh-huh.
I got another like a guy in Arizona, and he has 17 properties, and they want to sell it right away.
Okay.
So I bought them all, and right now we just wholesale lands.
So
So
you're
that's
you're you're buying and you're actually closing on them, and then you're
correct.
selling them. Instead of doing the terms, you're just selling it outright to someone else.
Wholesale, yes. I just
And
sold 5 properties yesterday.
in the property, you mean land, like you're like land parcels
Land
yesterday.
parcels,
Okay.
yes.
Who are those people that are buying random pieces of land, all cash, in the middle of nowhere in Colorado or Arizona?
So this time is those guys who is doing what I was doing. They try to find the end buyers, and
Okay.
instead of selling the end buyer right now, I changed my approach. I just reach out to the land investors. This lot is here, is cheap. You can sell your end buyers for how much on terms? How much would you do for it? So, they buy sometime because they are land investors, so they buy a lot. I sold 40 parcels, total of 200 acres
Okay.
in like 3 weeks.
Okay. So since joining my program, you've sold 40 parcels,
I sold total of 57 parcels total.
57
Yes.
parcels, just because I said one thing in a coaching call that made you think differently.
Yep.
I didn't even know that story. I swear to God. Oh my gosh, that's amazing. That's really cool. So essentially, you took something, you took an idea. Most people just think of wholesale, they wholesale houses, but you took it and applied it to a different product. And that's why I say, and I say this in my coaching program, in my actual course, that my virtual course is teaching you how to go virtual. Whether you want to change up your disposition strategy, like maybe you want to be one of those BRRRR investors, the BRR, buy, rent, rehab, refinance, repeat, all those R's, or you want to just be a landlord buyer, or in your case, and you are the only person I've met that's taken my course and done land with it. And that's cool. That's really cool. So I'm
Yeah.
excited because it's just something new and different that I've never really explored. So that's really cool. And I love that you are it's like you've got this scrappiness to you where you don't overthink, you just do it. And that must have came from your buying and selling car days.
Yep.
Like you're just like, you don't overthink. And I like that about you. You don't overanalyze and you don't get in analysis paralysis. Like the second you, like I know in some of our calls, it's like the second I'm like, wait, no, you need to do this, or why are you doing it like that? You're like, oh, okay. And like the next day you just like apply it and you don't overthink it. And I love that.
Yeah, we learn by doing, not by sitting behind the desk and analyze.
That is so true. You learn by doing, not by sitting behind a desk and overanalyzing. That's really cool. That's really cool. So, okay, so you're in Hawaii. Why do you live in Hawaii? What brought you? Have you always lived in Hawaii?
I was a student here in Hawaii. I just love Hawaii. There's no better place, I believe. So,
That's
so
cool.
the weather, everything is very cool, and the people are pretty helpful. They're lovely.
Oh, now why don't you invest in Hawaii?
Oh, the everything is super expensive. Wholesaling here, I did one deal, but that was take me for a long time. I think in wholesaling business, it's better to have a lot of deals than one deal in like half a year.
Yeah.
So I started to I always fascinated by virtual. Then one day, Tom introduced you to me, and thought, this is just perfect.
Yeah, and that wasn't that long ago. That was only,
Yeah,
I think, like 4 months ago. So
right.
it wasn't too long ago. So I'm glad we met. And I was definitely happy to have you in the group, especially because you bring on this different angle of land, and it opens up people's eyes that we don't just have to invest in houses, you guys. Like, you can wholesale land, you can wholesale commercial property. There's other avenues out there in real estate investing that a lot of people don't think about. I think we just traditionally go to single family residences.
Mm.
And you're here to say, like, there's other things you can do that are probably even less competitive, because everybody goes right into the single family residence space.
Sure. I think your program works either on house or land or everything else. It really works on houses. We're closing another house deal in Oklahoma next month. We already closed another land deal in Oklahoma. So your program works perfectly virtually. So
That's
you can be anywhere you want. You don't have to be in your territory. You can wake up anytime you want, because by the time I wake up, it's already noon in the mainland. So it will work anytime, anywhere.
That's really, yeah. Well, thank you. That's really cool. And I've got to say, you are like the silent killer, because in the group, you're not really bragging about how many deals you're doing. I didn't really know that you were this successful with my program. So that's really
Yeah.
cool. I think that's, there's something to that. I think that, you hear a lot of people, they brag when they close one deal or two deals, and there's something to the guy that sits quiet on the sidelines that secretly selling 57 land deals in
Yeah.
4 months.
Yeah, even though I wasn't on your coaching call live, but I always listen to your coaching call afterwards.
That's
I never miss one.
that's cool. And I think a lot of that's because of the time difference, because I remember at one point you were in China doing this
Correct.
business, right? So
Correct.
you were actually in China international, and the time difference is completely different. And you still, I mean, is that like the definition? If that's not the definition of like live anywhere, invest where you want, I don't know what is. And that's something that I always say is live anywhere, invest where you want. So you were in China for a while doing these deals.
Correct. Actually, my first deal in Oklahoma was a land deal, and I contacted the seller when I was in China, and we have been talking for a while, and he said he wants to sell his properties. I said, this house won't work. Do you have any other properties for sale? Oh, he said, oh, I have a land for sale in Oklahoma. I said, okay, let me see it. Right after that, I bought it in China, and I sold it when I came back. I sent it to my cash buyer list, and one realtor contacted me, and she wanted to buy it, and we closed it 2 days after I came back to the U.S.
That's so cool. How are you financing these deals, or how are you funding it? Is it your own money, or do you use any kind of financing?
If the deal is pretty cheap and the number makes sense, I'll buy them all with cash.
Okay. So it's your own cash. Money bags Ray over there. But now what if somebody who didn't have money like you do? What would
Oh,
you recommend?
that's something I really passionate to share. I think no business is about money. If you have a good enough deal, there are people going to buy it. That's the beauty of wholesaling. You don't need to actual buy it. You can just put it under contract and just sell that contract.
Right. You don't even need money. You can assign your contract with land deals the same way people are assigning wholesale deals with single family residents.
Correct. There are people also saying, "Oh, what if I don't have even the postcard money?" And I think just this is just excuse you don't want to take action. When I first came to American, I don't even have a place to live. I live in the car for a couple of months. What I did is I go to Craigslist, and there is a section called free. So you can go there, find items that are free, and you can just sell them. Sell it and collect your marketing money. and start from there. Once you get your first deal, you're good to go.
Right. I can't even right now. Like that, I have never, ever thought to suggest that to a student with no marketing money, but that's amazing. And
Yeah.
again, it just comes back to your car slinging days. Is that how you would buy cars sometimes?
Yeah, I got about 2 years ago. I got a car for $100. You know, there are people want to sell their property or cars or their items even for free. You don't know why. Why do they do that? You don't know why. You just do it. They gave out something for free. You can sell it on eBay for like $100. And you don't know why. I saw there was someone giving iPad the other day for real for free. You know, you never know why they do what they do, but you just do it. But the key is you have to be on the lookout. You have to go out and find it. If
Oh
you
my
don't,
gosh.
yeah,
So we are going to film another episode just on raising money for your marketing budget by buying things for free or selling things that you got for free on Craigslist. That is going to be a 2.0 to this, because I hear it all the time that my students don't have money for marketing.
true.
And I'm like, yeah, you know what I did is I got a credit card and I made sure I had an $11,000 limit, and I literally put my marketing budget on my credit card. Now that's risky, because what if I couldn't pay
Sure.
it back? What if for whatever reason, this didn't work out for me, I mean, those were the thoughts in my head, is like, well, then you need to make sure you can pay that back. I mean, you might get in credit card debt. And I had that pressure behind me, which made me work really hard to get a deal to be able to pay off my credit card. And in the end, I did, but I get really nervous recommending that to students. I
True.
say it as, hey, this is honest. I'm being honest with you. And I'm very real with everybody. Like, this is how I started. I started with a credit card, but I don't like to recommend that, because not everybody is like me, and not everybody is going to keep going. A lot of people don't have that tenacity. But I mean, this is a way where you're not in debt. It just takes a little, work, a couple hours out of your day, get things for free, sell them, make your marketing budget. And you know what?
Yeah.
It's funny. Have you heard of Gary Vee? Gary Vee is
Yes.
all about garage selling. So this is essentially the same thing. And he does it just for fun. And he teaches people how to make money off of buying things from garage sales and reselling them on eBay.
He said even though he's super successful right now, he still enjoys going to garage sales on Saturday.
I know. I love
Um,
Gary Vee.
yeah. So another thing about credit cards is, some people don't even have credit history. When I first came to America, I was a Chinese, and I'm still a Chinese, but I don't have
I love it.
I don't have a credit history, so I cannot even get a credit card. So that's you can start from there.
No excuses, you guys. No excuses. I love it, Ray. I mean, literally, you are like single-handedly in this podcast episode squashing every excuse like I've ever heard anyone make. He came to the country, no money, lived in his car, had no credit, so he couldn't even get a credit card. Had to sell things that he got for free on Craigslist. I mean, come on. Give me an excuse. I dare you guys after this episode.
Yeah, I used to get their mattress for free, and I can sell them for like $50, and there are a lot of people buying it.
$30?
50.
Oh, 50. And see, I mean, that's amazing. And you did that to be able to support yourself.
Correct.
What was going through your head at that time when you moved and you were in this space of living in your car? How'd you keep going?
I was thinking, I'm already at rock bottom. Where else can I go? There's no way down, so just the only way is up. So one day I'm gonna be rich.
I always say that because there was a rock bottom point in my life, and I'm not going to lie, it's not nearly as rock bottom as yours. Okay. I'm not even going to act like it. It wasn't. I was born very fortunate. I was born in this country, and my parents, I would say they're like middle income people. And I didn't have any like of these inherent struggles, But I always say that when I was in that kind of my version of rock bottom, I said, there's really only one way up. So if anything, it's exciting. I have so much to be excited about. I actually take comfort in rock bottom because you know that really there's only one way to go, and that's up. Whereas when you're kind of up there already and you're high flying, there is always this fear in you that you could go back down. That's
So we have to
really cool.
keep climbing. So
You got to keep climbing.
yeah.
That's amazing, Ray. I had no idea you had this kind of story, and I didn't know that this episode would go this direction, but it's really cool. So let me ask you, you were kind of doing this on your own when did you actually first get into the land and real estate space from cars to land?
I got it a couple of years ago and started to do deals here and there, but not too much of volume, because land is generally slower than properties.
Okay.
Very few people know about it, but there are deals out there. When I listen to your coaching calls, that's when everything starts to take off.
That's really cool. Okay. So then it started ramping up once you got mentorship and coaching.
Correct.
Right. And I think that, I mean, I know that you were involved in some coaching programs prior, but was there some missing links, and that's why you chose to actually get virtual coaching?
Yeah, I have tried in Hawaii, like I said, to wholesale. That was very frustrating because I sent a lot of mailers and very few people called. Even those people called, they cannot sell the properties because some of the island properties are protected. They can only be sold to Hawaiians, not outsiders. So,
Okay.
I've been doing a lot of stuff for literally nothing. So I was thinking I need to do something virtually, but I didn't know how to do that. There's a mind block, blocking me to go forward. One day, you just miraculously showed up. So that's when you saved me. So
One day then I showed up.
true.
And then I was, so yeah, I know. I mean, that was my story. I lived in Southern California. I still live in Southern California. I live in Orange County, super average house price is $750,000. And I used to be able to flip houses around here or LA, Inland Empire. But as the market started climbing up, the deals started drying up, the margins were going lower and lower to where it became very risky to buy a flip deal, because if you had any of your numbers off, whether that was your ARV or your repair, you were losing money on that deal. And I like sleeping at night personally. So that was not my jam. I was okay, I don't want to live like this personally. There's also this feast or famine where I would go 3-4 months and not get a flip deal. And because I was traditionally flipping, so my deals were bigger, but I would go 3-4 months and not have anything in the pipeline. And I would be up at night sweating because I spent all this money in marketing, all this money in postcards, and I have no deal lined up to pay me back. And I didn't want to live that way. So that was when I decided to go virtual, similar story to you. So I could, have a consistent deal flow. Yeah, the deals were smaller because I was wholesaling them and the property values were a little bit lower, so they were smaller deals, but I would rather get, a check a week versus a check every 4 months.
That's why I love wholesaling so much. You don't need to put a lot of money on there. You can secure the property and sell the contract. It will save you a lot of sweat, for sure.
For
So
sure.
there's no risk basically.
That's really, yeah, no, I know.
Yeah.
It's a beautiful thing. Well, Ray, I loved having you. And in fact, we are doing a second episode on how to raise money for a marketing budget when you are broke. So you guys stay tuned for that episode because it is coming. But for now, how can people get a hold of you if they want to learn more about land investing? Maybe you can partner up with people. Are you on any of the socials like Instagram or Facebook?
Yeah, they can add my Facebook or they can email me. My email is ray, RAY, at landprousa.com. So PROUSA.com.
Ray at landprousa.com. And then Ray Zhang, it's ZHANG, right?
Yes, I got it.
Ray Zhang on Facebook. Are you on Instagram?
Not really.
All right, that's fine. That's fair. All right, Ray, thank you so much. This was an amazing episode and extremely inspirational, not only for our listeners, but for me as well. So thank you. Can't wait to have you on again.